Today's topic is going to be customer relationship management, commonly referred to by its acronym CRM. I'm going to come here and show like the CRM topics that we'll cover today. We're going to go over sales automation, the customer portal, and marketing automation. We're going to start with sales automation and get into some of the CRM dashboards that are available. So lead management and activity tracking, the creation of opportunities that then basically get converted to sales orders, which are confirmed sales with clients, and then a look into case management. So we're going to start with the sales automation piece. With that, we're going to get into the software. So we're going to go into some of those CRM dashboards. I'm going to start by going into the sales manager. Actually, I'm going to take that back. I'm going to open it up, but I'm going to make this a default for the time being. So again, here's our user profile. We have all these different shared dashboards to choose from, and what I'm going to do here is select the sales manager dashboard to be my default for the time being. Okay. So now we're in the sales manager dashboard. Can see I've got a lot of these different sections called widgets on the dashboard. Sales manager can see their wins or losses, some stats on deal size and profitability, which doesn't look too hot. Again, these are color coded widgets, so we can say, hey, green is showing favorable conditions, red not so much. If we drill down into these wins, we can see all the individual opportunities that have been won. We also have this is basically a generic inquiry that is built behind the widget and filtering upon all those opportunities to show those that are won. We can see like, hey, here are these other filters for opportunities that are lost, that are unassigned, and several other categories of opportunities. So we have this sales manager dashboard shows a number of things, including the number of wins. Can drill down into each of the individual opportunities that makes up that total. We have wanted to go down here and show this widget for year-to-date sales versus quota. So just wanted to point out the fact that a lot of times dashboards have these graphs and some collection of details that can be drilled down upon, but we can just put a straightforward list on our dashboard as we see in this lower left-hand corner here, having salespeople listed with year-to-date quota and year-to-date sales, to see how they're measuring up so far. And just want to point that out. Going across to the right, we've got some of these graphs. Looking at the team sales bookings, we can hover over each of the different bars and see who's represented by each different color and what the name is, and what the total bookings are in dollars. I do want to just point out, I've brought this up in 2018 R2 release discussions, that we have this ability to deselect particular values from the legend. So I've kind of expanded the legend here, and see we're looking at these bar graphs and see that this gentleman Steve Church, has by far the most sales consistently every month, and we know he's doing fine, but we want to maybe take a deeper look into the other salespeople and see how they compare to each other, so we can actually deselect him and then just say, hey, we want to focus on the rest of the team. We know Steve is fine. So just an example of some functionality with the graphs. Of course, all these results are drillable, and then when we just want to get back to our original state of the graph, we can just click this basically refresh button here, and now Steve Church has been put back into the results. So just wanted to show again that that little functionality with the legend, and here's another graph, key customer for key customer growth. Same thing, same concept. We can hover over the bars and see all the different customers and and total sales for each of them, and drill down into what makes up each of those totals. So just a little bit on looking at the sales manager dashboard. I wanted to go over a few others as well. So I'm going to go back to dashboards and go to salesperson dashboard. And I just wanted to point out something unique here versus the sales manager dashboard, is that this is an individualized view of sales information. So we can see that some of these widgets indicate that as such. Like, look at my new leads, and we can see, like, we got the same owner, Maxwell Baker, on them. We can I'm going to go back to the salesperson dashboard here, and we see my opportunities. Can drill down into those. Look at the AR past due. If I open up drill down into the AR past due again, same employee across all three outstanding invoices that make up that balance. So just want to show that the dashboard can show enterprise-wide results, and can be individualized, as we see here with the salesperson, and in between as well. Another example is the customer view dashboard, and a part that's unique to this is that I believe it's in 2018 release 1, this ad of having this drop down of a customer account ID. So we can actually select an individual customer, select our USA bartending school customer used frequently in our demos, and now all of the widgets, all of these metrics, all these graphs, they are all unto that individual customer. If I change the customer, I'll say we'll pick ABC Studios. Now all that's changed, for that individual customer. So these dashboards again can provide enterprise-wide views, can provide individualized views, and be specific to other values, such as a customer, in the case of the customer view dashboard here. Last dashboard I want to show is the CRM flow, and this really is a nice picture to show. Here's how here are the different sources of leads that can come into Acumatica. What we can do with them, convert them to contacts and opportunities. Convert them into a business account. A business account is typically like a customer or vendor. Think of an external party that your company does business with, is kind of a broad umbrella of covering customers, vendors, and the like, are called business accounts in Acumatica. And I want to also mention that this CRM flow, I mean, it shows a nice diagram of what CRM is all about, and what it supports in Acumatica, but it's also interactive as well. So if I mouse over leads here, click on that, then I get into my leads form. I can go ahead and enter a new one, or look up an existing lead and see what's happened. So we got a Bell West already converted here, just as an example. So just another view into the dashboards that come with CRM, and also the fact that this shows a nice mapping, and as well as has some interactivity, just like we saw with the leads. Also wanted to point out that look over to the left hand side, all these different sources that can provide leads. So we can have an Outlook plugin actually select someone that's emailed us, and use the Outlook plugin to create a link in Acumatica. We can use the mobile application. We can import from spreadsheets. We can gather from a website and have leads automatically generated through an API. So an example of one of those external sources, I'm going to go to my mobile app, show how that's done. That back. All right, so from here, I'm in the mobile applications, the same instance as we were just looking at through my laptop. I'm going to go ahead and I can look at all the different contexts and go ahead and create one. So I'll just make up a name here. And then I can say, okay, I've met John Doe, have this new contact. John Doe was part of USA Bartending School. Save that. And now I can go back into the application and see that contact. So actually, I want to open up USA Bartending School. So I've opened up that customer. Go to the contacts page and see, like, I basically put in the bare bones information, just the person's name, and can work adding more details through the mobile application as well as within the application via the web. So just that's just one of the different sources that leads can come in from, and this picture, this coming from the CRM flow diagram shows some of the others as well. So going back to our topics, for sales automation, that was a look into the CRM dashboards. When I want to get into lead management and activity tracking. So to start with that, I'm going to go back to my that dashboard that I set up as a default. Actually, I don't want to do that. I want to take the salesperson dashboard rather. I want to drill down into my new leads, and so here are new leads that are assigned onto me. I'm logged in as an administrator, which is associated to this owner, Maxwell Baker. So it's part of one of the newer released features of Acumatica. We have what's called here a side panel. So I selected this lead, David Tomlin, and then open up this side panel. And so now we see all these different details that we can go ahead and add and edit for the lead. I also want to note, that we, here's the, that owner field, that's who I am, Maxwell Baker, and we can use this as an anchor for assigning and kind of sorting out, assigning and approving leads. So what I mean by that is I'm going to open up a duplicate tab here, and we can go into our assignment and approval maps. I refer to these as like workflow review and approval, a workflow review and approval utility within Acumatica. So one example is we've got one here is called a lead and contact assignment map. And there are different types of leads and contacts, right? So like a job application, hey, if there's some job applicant, send it to Nanad, who's in the HR department to take care of those. But we're in the world of CRM and looking at sales requests. So we're looking at hey, let's disperse the different types of leads that we get in here. So hey, Steve Church, I guess he's considered our top guy in the sales organization. So any lead with with companies over 50 million, assign that lead to him. For a small medium business, sent to another person, and I'll pronounce that name Kashin, and I hope I got that right. So we can see here that we've got these different sequences of these different rules that'll say, based on different attributes that we've got of our leads, we can assign them to the proper people within our organization. So I just wanted to bring that up to show the power of assignment and approval maps and how that can key up, how that owner value is important to to help determine where how a lead should be processed and who should be doing it. So coming back here, wanted to we have all these pretty standard attributes of a lead, captured in their name, their email address, their phone address, and so forth. Here we have different sub tabs. Want to go to the activities tab, so we can see like, hey, here's some activities, some interactions that we've got with this lead, and hey, what we're going to do, we're going to have a meeting with them morning of New Year's Eve, and have a little coffee, send an email to them, say, hey, we're looking forward to meeting on the 31st, and then have a task here that would wrap it all up and say, hey, sometime between that day and the 2nd of January. Put a log together. Log the meeting notes from that coffee that we had with David, and see what came of it, if anything. So this is a pretty standard sub-tab in terms of being able to track activities to entities, to individuals, to transactions, and this is an example of it for leads. And that's it's pretty standard, like I said, across all of Acumatica. So coming back to our topics, that's a little bit on the lead management and activity tracking with those leads. Next, I want to get into some transacting. So we create opportunities, and then if the opportunity becomes WON, W-O-N, then we won that opportunity. We can then create a sales order that can then be for the process for fulfillment, for invoicing, and so forth in the normal course of business. So with this lead, I'm going to come back to David Tomlin here. I didn't mean to do that. We have an actions menu, and so from here, what we can do is we can create an opportunity directly from the lead record itself. All right. So I'm going to go and start plugging in some information. So I'm going to say, let me see. David wants to order a laptop from us, so I'm going to select one of those, and an Acer laptop. It'll just be a quantity of 1. I'm going to go to this details sub-tab here, and what I want to show here is that this value up in the header of the opportunity called stage. This is determining the probability and the weighting total of it. So let me come back to the document details and see, like, hey, this opportunity, it's 1 laptop. So we're looking at, if we win this opportunity, we have a sale for $500. Come here, and now depending on the stage that this opportunity is in, let's say call it solutioning. We've gone from 0 to 40% chance of winning it. And in terms of like weighting those opportunities in real dollars, say, well, 40% of $500 is a weighted total of $200, and that's used really for reporting the value of your pipeline based on probabilities. When it's set to 1, then obviously probability is 100%, and we have a $500 weighted total. So with that. I just want to show a little bit of that toggling between the stages and note those changes to the probability and the weighting there. I'm going to go ahead and save that, and then come back to I'm sorry. We're going to go ahead and create an account now. So David, we're going to create basically a business account. And, we need to have a customer, basically to book this transaction towards. So I'm just going to call it Jora. Create that. And there we go. I'm going to save that transaction. This is a little bit like a warning message here. Say consent to the processing of personal data. So I'm just going to go ahead and say, yep, they consented. Save that as well, just to get rid of that arrow. And then from here, we're going to say, okay, we've got a business account tied to that opportunity. We're just going to convert that business account to a full-fledged customer. Save that customer. Okay, and then from there, I'm going to go back to the opportunities. I'm just going to pick it up this way through the universal search, and there we see the opportunity. It's been won, and from there we could go ahead and create a sales order and go about the normal processing of a sales order, invoicing the order, and in the case of this, we have a laptop to fulfill the sales order and ship it out to the customer. So that's a little bit from that's taking us from the lead that we've gotten. We looked at that list of leads from our dashboard, creating an opportunity, determining the likelihood of winning the sale, then creating the business account, converting that business account to a customer, and then ultimately creating a sales order that can then be used for processing that one sale. And lastly, wanted to cover case management here. So with case management, I wanted to go into one more dashboard. That's for the support manager dashboard, and just want to note that open cases, these can have approval maps, just like we're looking at for leads. So when a lead is entered, we can have a approval map to say different types of leads have assigned to different individuals. Likewise, in the support organization, the same thing can be applied to cases through those assignment and approval maps. If we drill down into these open cases, want to select one of them. I want to just note here, here we've got a case where we're saying, hey, here's the details of it. Customer parts are missing. The left flange is required to attach to the machine housing as missing there. So, and then we look at some of the activities again, kind of have this standard functionality across our transactions and our entities, be able to add, emails, notes, appointments, whatnot. And, we've here in this case, we've got an email that says that the flange was shipped in different shipment in order to save on shipping costs. Now it's shipped via USPS, and here's a tracking number for it. So, again, we've got this way we can create the cases, look at it through, look at it quickly through our dashboard, have the options for creating assignment and approval maps to just distribute those cases accordingly and track all the activity that's going along with it. So that's different types of functionality that we've got in sales automation. Did want to start with the CRM dashboard to see the type of information that we're getting out of processing all these leads, these opportunities, the activity that goes with them, and the cases. Next, I want to go into the customer portal and show when access is granted to specifically granted to a contact at a customer, what options that they have at their disposal within Acumatica itself. So with that said, I'm going to get back into the software, and I'm going to actually log out of the main portal and log into the customer portal. And we've got a particular ID lined up to use for that. All right, so a little bit of a different look, right? And less options. Customer wouldn't be expected to have as many options as administrator of the Acumatica system as we were logged into before. So I want to go through each of these different workspaces and show some of the key items that we have here. So in the profile workspace, open up my documents, and we can see everything associated with the organization that I work with as a customer contact. So look at all my invoices, prepayments, balances. Got some options here, like, hey, I want to print the paper copy of this invoice. Go ahead, select that invoice. Go ahead and select the print invoice memo option up at the top, and can print that off or export it to what I want. Going back to the my documents, can print account history. So kind of just looking at all the activity of the invoices of payments, saying credits have gotten, prepayments I've made as a customer, all in one report is through one click, and then also coming back to my documents, an aging report. So looking at aging report for myself. Look at the different balances and the different aging buckets that are shown. So that's one of the items we've got here underneath the profile workspace to use as a customer contact. My contracts. So this is more typical with our software clients, but if we have any types of, like, say, support contracts, we can list those out as such and see some of the details of them. So look at a support contract here. Let's see, like, it's expired. What were the billings? What was last billed a couple, 2.5 years ago? So Old contract, obviously. Look at some of the details. It included, okay, it was a small one, included 5 hours, and probably got used up and billed out. So we can track a lot, contracts that are associated to the organization we work with as a customer contact. Everything in terms of AR, invoicing, payments, credits, all through the Acumatica portal. I'm going to go into the next workspace, my orders. And from here, we can open up the item catalog, and we can go ahead and start, picking items and choosing to add them to our account. So in this case, I'm going to say, you know what, I'm going to pick the Acer laptop. I want to buy 5 of them. I'm going to add that to my cart. And then from there, I'm going to go ahead and open the cart. All right, I've got the 5 here. I want to proceed to checkout. That's all I want to buy today. And yep, here's my UPS ground default option for shipping. But actually, I got a little more urgency to it, so I'm gonna pick FedEx overnight. And when I selected that, recognize like, oh, okay, we got an overnight rate happening and needs to be applied, and it included that freight price right here in the shipping information section. So we have the option to change that ship via. We have a default for the company that we work for as a customer contact, and change that right there. So go ahead. All right, we've got the 5 items. Going to expedite the shipment to be FedEx overnight. Going to go ahead and continue on with the order there. I'm going to go ahead and yep, it looks all good. It's the price I expect. Here's the shipping information. It looks fine. I'm going to go ahead and submit that order. And then just going to go to this little groups tab and note that, hey, we now have created a sales order. So SO is the abbreviation of sales order, and here is the order number. So it's quadruple 012, and that's really what we've gotten to, a nice little cart shopping functionality within Acumatica. Excuse me. So I'm going to go to my orders, and I can see, what orders of mine are open, what are completed. I can go ahead and print orders, view the shipments for them. So here's like going down and viewing shipments. You can see like, okay, for this particular sales order number, here's this shipment number and the status of it, and the date that it was shipped and location that was shipped to. We can take one of these, we can take these orders and say, copy an order, like, hey, I want to make the same order again. Just basically make a copy of it and add it to the cart, and we can also cancel orders as well. So that's a good bit on ordering capabilities that can be granted to customer contacts, and it's basically that pretty well understood cart shopping functionality that's been common on websites for years. Next, going to go into the support work case, and from here we can open up cases. We can create new cases. I'm going to select one particular case here. What do we see here? The subject: the laptop keyboard light is broken. Then I can look at the activities. Okay, got a note here that we're working on it, and there's going to be a note to follow up on this as well. Have the case description. Don't need anything more than, hey, my light is broken. So we can add more text to it as well. But I do want to show this case in the standard Acumatica portal. So I'm going to go back. Go back to the Acumatica portal and show working it in as basically supporting this customer. So there's that same case ID, and I can add. Here's just more of what I can do. I can add additional notes. So let's say, hey, note to work up on it. We can make notes internal, so the customer wouldn't see it, or external. So I can say, Here's one that I want the customer to see. It's about done. Will be ready. End of day. Save that and close that. So I just added another note working the case as an working the case for the customer. Go back into the customer portal. Now I'm going back in as Malone as that contact from that customer. Go back into the open case. Come back here, and there. Just about done. We'll be ready. We'll be ready end of the day. So we've got some two-way communications that can be applied here, and likewise, as someone that's supporting this customer, you can make notes that wouldn't show up on here via that internal checkbox. So just wanted to show that real quickly. But we can create new cases, edit existing ones, view our closed cases here. All of that from the customer portal. Lastly, what I want to do is go to the home page. Look at a couple of other items in this company portal. We have a knowledge base, so we could add, like, say, wiki pages, some like useful information for the customer, as far as, like, hey, maybe some facts that frequently asked questions. We put those types of documents and that type of information into this knowledge base that they have at their disposal, that the customer contacts have at their disposal. Likewise, as a customer contact, I may want to edit my own information and say, hey, you know what, Fadi doesn't work here anymore. I'm going to change that to John Smith, and add that change that email name there. Save that. So we can change some of our own contact information as a customer contact. Just wanted to show a little bit of the power of that, not PowerPoint, show a bit of the power of the customer portal within Acumatica, going through those different workspaces and some of those other homepage options, such as the knowledge base and ability to edit the customer contact, to edit its own company's contact details. And lastly, wanted to show a little bit of in terms of marketing automation that's available through Acumatica. So, and go through a few things here. The marketing lists, ability to create mass emails and be able to create and tag marketing campaigns to our marketing activities within Acumatica. So here I'm going to log out of the customer portal and get back into the main portal. All right. So first look at those marketing lists. I'm going to select one of these marketing lists, new leads. So what we can do is we can make a marketing list a dynamic list, or we can make it a static list. If we make it a dynamic list, we check this off, and we can do one of two things. We can add a generic inquiry. Again, a generic inquiry is like it's like the query tool within Acumatica to pull data, and that was one way to make your marketing list a dynamic, by having this generic inquiry pull the contacts that they want to market to. Another way to make a marketing list dynamic is to use this selection criteria. So we can say, hey, the status of the contact is that they're new, they're created this month, and the type of contact is that they're a lead. So a couple different ways there's a couple different ways of making a marketing list dynamic. If this is unchecked, then we'd have basically a static marketing list, and we'd come here and we could just like manually add specific individuals as part of this marketing list here. So I just want to show a couple different options there of creating marketing lists. They can be dynamic, they can be static, and if they're dynamic, a couple different ways of going about that via generic inquiry or different type of selection criteria, which is kind of accomplishing the same thing. Just two different ways of going about it. Then we can create mass emails. So I want to select the this one. Thank you for your interest one. So so we create the body of the email. Think of this as an email template. Who it's going to, what the subject is, and then we identify the source. So we can use a marketing list. We can use a campaign. We can use go right to lists of individual leads, contacts, employees. So that's a little bit of the setup there. We've got a marketing list as our source, and so then we go to the marketing list subtab and choose which marketing list we're gonna have, and any messages, any activities that we want to associate it. There's that activity subtab, again, standard throughout Acumatica for transactions and entities. So this is the structure, pretty basic structure for an email to be sent en masse to whatever our source is for pushing them. So a little bit on mass emails, and last thing I want to cover is marketing campaigns. So for marketing campaigns, want to look at like say a year-end campaign, and I go through some of the details here. We can designate, hey, planning wise, we want this to be for the last month of the year. It's going back a couple years, so December 1st to December 31st. We have a budget, like we're going to spend $30,000 on this campaign. We expect to get $50,000 in return for it. And we can use a project ID and a project task ID to basically tag the different expenses and revenues associated with this campaign to see how we're tracking to that budget and how we're tracking to that return. Over here on the right hand side of campaign details, we see the campaign statistics. So how many leads has this generated so far? How many of those have been converted? What are the values of the opportunities? What are the opportunities that have been won so far? What's the total dollar value? And again, that value is going to be accumulating that weighted value that we saw based on the stage of the opportunity. So if it's 1, it's 100%. If it's something else than 1 and then it's less than 100%, it'll take a portion of the total value of the sales order and add that into this bucket right here. Want to look at a little bit more, so we can have a list of the members that we want to we're approaching with through this campaign. Want to look at some generated leads. So take a look at one that was converted. This one, Gordon, and from there we can see. Excuse me. We can see that he's got we have this campaigns subtab here, and we can see like, okay, here's the tag of the campaign ID to this lead, and that's how we're getting the the end results of this person being associated through the campaign is being generated through that campaign itself. So so a little bit of showing how the tagging of leads to campaigns is done, and likewise with opportunities. Here's a list of opportunities that have been generated through this campaign. Opening up the opportunity, we've got that basically that same campaign value there on this detail subtab. Here's a source campaign, what type of campaign what type of source it is as well. So just kind of tying in, associating the leads to the campaign, associating the opportunities to the campaign, calculating the number of leads converted on the campaign, and then calculating the total value to date of those opportunities that are in the pipe, and a portion of them that are won, all on one page here through this marketing campaigns function. So we covered quite a bit here in 42 minutes. Got 3 minutes to spare. That last part on marketing automation, walk through the marketing list, the way to create them dynamically, 2 different ways of doing that, as well as going to have static lists, structuring those email templates to be set up, and defining the sources for sending those out through the mass emails page, and then lastly those marketing campaigns, how we plan for those, can track the expenses and revenues to the campaigns, as well as all the leads and opportunities that that are generated through the campaign. So that's everything we've got for CRM today. Done in 2 minutes. Amber, I'll take it back to you and see if we got any Q&A.
We do have one question from early in the presentation. Someone says, how did you create the side panel, and can those be modified? Do you know what we're talking about? Or should I get some clarification?
Well, yeah, I'm gonna point back to you, Amber. Just joking. We actually, so side panels came out in the latest release, 2018 R2, and we should have a video. I'll double check on this afterwards. We should have a video on how to do that. But yeah, that's a side panel that came came delivered, and we can add different side panels to the individual contacts that could show different information. So like, yeah, that contact we listed, we opened up the side panel and showed like kind of basic details like address and phone and whatnot. But we could say, hey, give me another side panel that lists all the opportunities that are associated to that contact or all the activities. So, and we can add more than one side panel. So that video for 2018 R2 shows it. And if we don't, I'll make sure that we have that. Maybe Amber, maybe can take that away, I'll take a look too and see if I can add some, maybe add a little bit of details to that for the person in the Q&A here.
Thanks for watching. To learn more about our products, visit www.crestwood.com. Hope to see you there soon.